Okay, so here I have 𝐿𝑽𝑹𝐿𝑃 Universalis 9. This is my translation of the game into Gothic. So the original 𝐿𝑽𝑹𝐿𝑃 Universalis 9 is basically a version of 𝐿𝑽𝑹𝐿𝑃 Universalis 8, which itself is a fan adaptation of a fan how would you call it, like an improvement on the original 𝐿𝑽𝑹𝐿P Universalis 6, which is another name for 𝐿𝑽𝑹𝐿 Universalis, which is what Paradox made their 𝐿𝑽𝑹𝐿 Universalis board video games after. But the original 𝐿𝑽𝑹𝐿 Universalis was just a board game, and this is a bit different to that because the map is different. I did make a few changes myself. Originally, these two regions were the same region, and I thought that gave really ugly borders. The same is true over here in Bosnia. So this and was it Croatia and this were the same region, and this was the same as Dalmatia, but I just basically separated them to make nicer borders. And that's, in terms of gameplay, that's the only difference between my version of the game and the version that you can find online. The main difference is that, well, first of all of the province names, all of the region names, all of the city names, they're all been translated to Gothic by me. Some of these translations I did a while ago, and maybe if I did it now, I would have translated them differently. But there are a lot of them. I basically have everything divided up into layers. So, for example, if I turn off controller, you can see basically the terrain. If I turn off all of these, then the units will go away. There's a few of these. And then so you can see this sort of more orange/brown color is the mountains. Then you have like the forests and the plains and the deserts. So pretty much what you would expect in terms of terrain. There's also like swamp, and I think this is, I can't remember what this is called. It's something like steppe, or I don't know. But where it's more like it's trees, but it's like sparse trees, and you have some swamps over here. Let's see. I also have a few other maps, like the religion map. So here you can see the places that, like the countries that are Catholic. So Ireland's Catholic, Spain's Catholic, Portugal's Catholic, Italy's Catholic. In 1492, which is when the game starts, these blue countries were also Catholic, but they eventually become Protestant. The countries that are in the middle, that are like, I guess, almost green, since the green, like not this green, but this green is countries that basically the religion is variable. So if you're playing as France, you can decide to become Protestant or to stay Catholic. Same for Great Britain. Same for Poland. Poland, I believe, can go Orthodox. These more darker orange countries are the Orthodox countries, and then you have this light green is Shia, this sort of brighter green is Sunni, and you have something to keep in mind is that these places are green even though the local populations are Orthodox, because it's indicating the religion of the country. So I'll put it back to showing the controller. Oh, I have to do that. So here, I think this is wrong. I think historically these were already under the control of the Ottomans, and the Crimean Khanate wasn't this big. I don't know if I don't think Georgia was that big either. In any case, how I should have started this video is talking about basically how it works. So each player is a country. For example, you have one player playing Spain, one player playing France, one player playing England, and one player playing the Ottomans. And then there are a few countries where you switch midway through. So, for example, you might start as Venice and then go to playing Austria midway through, or maybe you start playing as Portugal and then go to Sweden. And it depends on exactly how many players there are, on like which countries you switch to. But basically, yeah, for I think it's 5 countries, you play as that one country for the entire game. Spain, France, England, and the Ottomans. But also, if you have enough players, then one player plays as Russia the entire game. And otherwise, if you're playing someone else, you'll have to switch country midway through. So how the game actually works, I don't have enough to show you here, because a lot of it is like in the rule book, which I don't have open right now. But basically, if I turn on Venice, you can see that I have I have like a navy, I have an army, and let's say Venice and Turkey are going to fight each other. So maybe on Venice's turn, you say, oh yeah, I'm going to move my ship from here over to there, and then you do a bunch of dice rolls, and that's basically how it works. For taking land, let's say you're the Ottomans and you want to take Serbia, you would... for most countries you need to cast a spell, but let's say you just move your army over here, and then if you played EU4, this might be familiar. Although, like, the actual... because it's like a board game and not a video game, and this is, I mean, there's like more stuff that has to be done by hand. So we have the army here, and I think it just has to have more, like, if you have a big enough army, then you roll the dice, and if you get a good roll, then you get a siege progress, and if you get a bad roll, you don't get a siege progress. Let's see if I can find the thing real quick. I have this divided into a few different documents. I think 4. I'll just open this. So I'll try to show you the next one. It might take a second to load. Sorry about that. says not responding. Oh, there. It's open, so I'll just switch to it real quick if I can find it. There it is. So here I have a bunch of icons for the game. These are generals, and generals affect the dice rolls. And there are a few different kinds. There's an explorer and a conquistador. And all of the generals are actually historical, which is nice. So, for example, if I try to find we have 𝐌���𐍃𐍰🍪 de Castro, and I translated all of the names into Gothic, or I don't know, transliterated them might be a better word. So I'm not sure exactly which generals these are, but Potocki, Zasławski, Czarniecki. So I don't know, if you know these generals, you might recognize them. If I go, I should be able to find. Well, that says Poland. It's supposed to be Spain, whatever. Here you have Charles I, as see the crown indicates it's the ruler general. Some of them are generic, so they don't have like a name. But in any case, these are all like the generals, so they impact stuff. Let's see if I can find the. Okay. This is the icon I'm using for siege progress. So if I go back to, oh, come on, don't tell me you're not working out. There we go. So I would just put this here to show the siege progress, and then if I want to increase it, I would just like go here, go to the text box, and type whatever it is. Just type whatever. Obviously, that's not a valid number, but if it's 5, I'll put the 𝐿 in there. And the higher the siege progress, the more likely the city is to just fall. And the game itself is basically divided into turns, where each turn is like 5 years. So an entire game goes into the early 1800s, or maybe just it might just end in the year 1800. I'm not sure. But it includes mechanics for like colonizing the New World and all that stuff. It tries to be a lot more historically accurate than EU4 does. So in EU9, you're playing as the major countries like Spain, France, whereas in EU4, you're playing as some tiny country and taking over the world. This is not a game where you can take over the world. No world conquests, even as the Ottomans or anything. It's just not that kind of game, and there's a lot. I guess you could say a lot less freedom in this game than in EU4. You're not going to switch to Tengriism or whatever like you could in the EU4. It's more like if you're the Ottomans, you're going to be Sunni. If you're playing as Spain, you're going to be Catholic, and there's no way to change that. So that level of historical fidelity does like make it harder to like diverge from what happened historically. But there are like some like alternate history paths. Like you can go Protestant, it's France, or like Catholic is England, or Orthodox is Poland. And also because the game is like more historically oriented, there one benefit of that is that the events are a lot better than in EU4. So if you're playing EU4, the events like basically don't matter, like most of them, anyways. But for this one, they actually do, and the events are actually pretty interesting. Here you can see the New World. Europe is labeled in this sort of color, so you can see like where Egypt connects to Sudan, but you can also see the Americas. So the map of the rest of the world is a lot smaller in terms of like where the provinces are, I mean the regions are bigger. I did a lot of coloring here to like show the historical countries that existed. EU9 itself just has all of these as blank, but I thought it looked better with the like countries in like in Asia and the New World colored in. They don't actually do anything other than just look interesting. But I mean, you can see there's this like a zoomed in map of India and this zoomed in map of the Americas. So you can see Wisconsin and Illinois and Indiana and Ohio and Louisiana, and you can't like have exact historical borders on this because it's not really. I mean, even on the Europe map, it doesn't. It tries to follow like rivers and things and it doesn't try to be exactly accurate. But I think it's pretty interesting. And you can see where the gold is. And there are other resources too that can change value. Let's see if I go to areas. You can see the resources that are in each area. So, for example, North America has fur, and this place has fish. And you can see there's lots of fur in Siberia, and silk in Asia. I never really bothered with trade while playing EU4. It always just seemed like, this thing that you can just sort of ignore and get money off of. Here, I feel like they put more effort into it. As you can see, there are slaves in this game, which is, historical. Since slavery did exist in history, it doesn't try to cover that up or whatever. So the resources are divided across the areas. So, like for example, if you build a colony anywhere here, you can get access to the spice. It's not like in a specific place. Like for example, I have the China as just in the middle, so it might look like, oh yeah, if you own this place you get China, and if you own this place you don't, but it's any of them. And for this, it might look like, oh yeah, there's 2 China here and 1 spices in there, but actually like they're divided all across the entire area. and it's sort of a first come, first serve sort of thing, where if you build like a trading place here, then you can get the resources. How it works, it's more complicated than that. But I feel like you actually have to like think about, okay, the value of this resource is really high, so I want it. And the value of the resources does sort of change over time. Turn this off, and you can look at the don't know why it's not getting turned off. Okay, there. Now it's off. Okay, I have the control on, but I want to show you the terrain. I really like how the terrain looks. The visual part of this is, I mean, like the actual shapes of the regions and all that I just took directly off of the website. But in terms of like what the coloration is and like these little things to show you what kind of terrain is, that's all me basically. Let's see, there was something else I wanted to find. And hopefully it doesn't take too long to load, which it shouldn't. So here's basically all of this is like the income and expenses sheet, which there's a lot of things you have to calculate by hand. Which can be pretty annoying. It looks as though this has been corrupted, but oh well. Let's look at this. You can see a lot of like numbers and stuff. This basically tells you like how good your units are, like in the different ages. Here's the technology thing, so you move your little thing up and over to like to show what technological progress you're at. Let's see. This shows each different era. So the first era, the second era, the third era, the fourth era, the fifth era, the sixth era, and the seventh era. So that's how many eras there are. This is things showing what each resource is. Or is that the inflation? I can't remember. As Earth. Oh, this is what's showing what each resource is. It's been a while since I made this, but this is definitely the indicator for inflation. You know, a lot of this stuff is like if I was hosting a game of this, like this would be the stuff that I'm looking at, trying to figure out. But if someone was just playing this, they wouldn't have to worry about it because I'd be doing this. This is like the monarch points. Here you can see the corn is not worth very much. Neither is the sugar or the fish. But the fur and the spices and silk and china are all very expensive. And they can go up and down in price based on events in the game. This is the stability. So as you can see, France is +3 stability. And stability is, I feel like it's a lot more important than EU4. I know I'm comparing a lot of stuff to EU4, just because I've played a lot of EU4, and that's definitely the most similar game to this, and also a lot more popular. Like, people have actually played it. Open this too and show you. So here, this looks kind of weird. It might be corrupted or something. That also looks corrupted. I think because it's just old and the fonts are all messed up. So winter 1, summer, winter 0, summer 1, winter 1. Like I said, each turn is 5 years. And if you think about this as New Year's, and this is also New Year's, so winter 5 is the same winter as winter 0, and then the summer is in the middle of year 1, and then the winter 1 is at the end of year 1 and the beginning of year 2. So that's, what you would expect. This is corrupted. That's all corrupted. Basically, when I say it's corrupted, I just mean the font size is messed up. Where the spacing is just too big. So it no longer matches the tables. These are basically the event tables. So, I basically roll a die, and let's say the first die is a 5, and then the second die is a 4, then I would get, I get event 12. So then I look up in the book what event 12 is, and then I give, the country event 12. And that's basically it for what's on my actual computer. But if you want, if you were me and you were hosting a game of this, not that I've ever successfully hosted a game, but I can find the actual rule book that was made by the people that made the game. Let's see. I'll show the map that they made first. If I can find it. So here's the actual map of the game made by the people who made it, and that I basically just downloaded and then recolored and changed all of the names to be. Let's see. It does look pretty different in certain ways. I'll go find the places I said. As you can see, it's like Trentino is both of those places, and Bosna is a lot slower. Well, I mean, it's the same size, but Hrvatska, which is Croatian for Croatia, I'm pretty sure, and Dalmacia are a lot bigger. Like I said, I gave it an extra thing. You can see the there you can see my font that I made. Let's see. I can show you the rule book that they made. This is from 2020, it looks like. So basically, this is what I would be using if I was hosting a game, and the players would, only have to look at some of this. You have the economical events, and the political events, and the diplomatic events. There's a lot of this stuff. If someone did really want to host a game in Gothic for whatever reason, they'd have to do all of this on their own. And so let's say you find a group of 9 players that all want to play Gothic, play EU9 in Gothic. First of all, congratulations. I don't know how you managed that, since I wasn't able to, and I've when I tried, the Gothic server was, pretty active in terms of people speaking Gothic compared to how it is now. But let's say you have your own Gothic Discord server or whatever, and it's super active. You have tons of people speaking Gothic, and you want to play this game. Well, then you can just email me or something, and I could host the game for you. But if you don't want me hosting the game, then in that case, I could send the files over. I don't really see the point of hosting the files though, because I find the idea of someone just stumbling across the rules for this and the files for it and just happening to have enough players. At that point they can just email me if they have enough players, and I don't really have any objections to just emailing it to them individually. It's not like there's a huge demand for this. But if there ever was, I could host it. I wouldn't have any problem with that.